So, okay, here's how we do this. So, going back to The Walking Dead, that leads us really nicely into Culture Swap.
Swap my culture.
So, this week, Mark made a suggestion for us. What did you suggest?
What did I suggest?
Yep.
I suggested the Lucio Fulci masterpiece, Zombie Flesh Eaters, also known as Zombie 2 and Zombie.
So that's not confusing.
Yeah, I must admit, I Wikipedia'd it earlier just to make sure I had like stuff in the right order and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is Zombie 2. What?
Yeah, it depends where it was released, what title it was, because it was marketed differently in different countries. Do you want me to give you the story?
Go for it.
Okay, so the film was originally written before the release of Dawn of the Dead. Then Dawn of the Dead was released in Italy and was a massive success because of Dario Argento and other Italian directors' involvement. And the title of Dawn of the Dead in Italy was Zombie. So the producer, I forget his name, decided to cash in on that. He would title it Zombie 2, so it was to come across as a loose sequel to Dawn of the Dead in Italy. But of course, when it got released abroad, it wasn't the same case. So in the UK, it was released as Zombie Flesh Eaters, and in America, it was released as Zombie.
Oh, fair enough.
So, yeah, that's basically it. So depending on which part of the world you're from, it has a different title. But seeing as, I don't know if you bought it, Jack, but I've got the Arrow release from a few years ago, which is the Zombie Flesh Eaters. But I've got about, I think, 3 different versions of the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 2 on DVD and the Blu-ray release. So,
Well, even that Arrow Blu-ray release has 3 cuts of the film on the disc.
Yeah, man.
Oh, God. Well, I rented it on Amazon's service, so hopefully I've watched the same cut. Well, you guys have watched it on your fancy Arrow, so I probably haven't.
As long as it was uncut, you'll be golden.
Yeah, I think that there's no difference in cut apart from when it was released in this country, it was during the Video Nasties Act. So it was actually banned in this country for a substantial amount of time, up until I think the early 90s, where it got released with like a 1.5-minute cut. One particular scene, the splinter through the eye,
Yeah.
that was cut, plus a lot of the gore scenes were also cut.
Oh, fair
as
enough.
well.
Well, I saw the splinter in the eye, so...
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. The thing I watched on that Arrow disc, there was like an hour-long, not kind of documentary, but like discussion, if you will, with a load of talking heads, some that were involved in the film, Kim Newman, who's like a huge horror critic. They all were talking about not just Zombie Flesh Eaters, but sort of the role of the zombie in films and how that's evolved as well.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was brought up that I quite liked was they were saying, although it did come out after Dawn of the Dead and you could look at it as sort of trying to cash in on that success, they did mention how it was written beforehand and how also the zombies themselves are more rooted in like the earlier zombie films with the voodoo element.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's
That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, and you lose that with Dawn of the Dead. I think that the best way I heard it described is Dawn of the Dead is a great zombie film for story with kind of like action set pieces that sort of stick out a little bit, but not necessarily for the right reasons. Whereas Zombie Flesh Eaters has amazing action set pieces, but not a great story that ties it all together.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if you're looking for logic, then
Don't look at Italian cinema.
Yeah, exactly.
So we haven't done this in a while, but I know it was a very special request that you made.
Yay!
For Jack to make some notes as he watches it.
Yep. Which I have done.
I'm very excited about this.
To be honest, Mark, when Liam said you'd asked for me to do it, I was like, oh, okay, I enjoy doing the old notes.
It's just it's a horrifying look into the way your mind works.
And plus,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, plus you've never seen the film before, have you?
No.
Exactly. So it's a fresh perspective.
It was. I don't know if these notes are going to capture a fresh perspective or just sort of a guy freaking out at this film.
Excellent.
So shall I start going through them?
Yeah, shoot.
Yeah.
and then if you guys want to interrupt me on a point and talk about it...
Well, let's do
I
a
can
point
go
at a
for it.
time, and I'm sure we'll have plenty to discuss.
Okay, Liam, let's do a point at a time.
Although before that, should we do a very, very quick plot synopsis?
I won't do that, because I'm not good at doing quick plot synopsises.
Okay, shall I do one?
Go for it.
Okay, so we start in New York Harbour, where a boat comes in, a couple of policemen, because it appears that no one is on board. A couple of policemen go in there, have a look around, there's rotting food, they're assuming everyone's
This is too detailed. Basically,
everyone go overboard.
Basically.
And so,
too much detail.
a zombie comes out.
Too much detail. Right, basically, zombies appear, and then some people go to an island, and there's more zombies there. That's all you need.
Okay, fine.
Right. Now, if anyone hasn't seen it, there will be spoilers. Although we have already spoiled, bits of it, so you should have watched it. Go on, Jack, take it away.
Alright, so my first note is, ooh, spooky ghost ship.
Right.
As mentioned.
So,
Still want me to do it a point at a time?
yeah, no, because I'm just curious. So, with the title like Zombie Flesh Eaters, your first thought was Ghost.
You are aware that a ghost ship is a ghost without people on it, yes, Liam?
What?
A ghost ship
Yeah.
is a ghost that is a ghost? Is a ship
There we go.
that is sailing around without people on
There we
it.
go. It could also be a ship with ghosts on, right?
Yeah, well, after
we go
seeing the
then.
title Zombie Flesh Eaters, Liam, I'm worried that the first thing I thought was ghosts.
I know you too well.
I didn't think ghosts. They said it's a abandoned ship.
Okay.
Then I put, that must be it, Bill. Yeah, no shit, because the cops were a bit thick on that bit.
It's terrible script, though.
I don't understand. There's like one abandoned ship floating through. Also, at one point, I didn't write this down, but it got to me. They go, oh, this ship is on a crash course with every ship in the harbour. And I was like, that can't be right.
Surely after the first, ship crash, it will stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
These zombies look good. Because
That's true. I mean,
the practical effects in this film were really good.
Yeah, amazing.
that is the highlight of the film, really, is
Yeah.
the practical effects.
And again,
There were like a couple of bits where you see a bit of normal, like they have a zombie all zombied up, but they've not done one part of them or something, and you're like, that's weird. Like, I'm sure there's one that you see his hands, and his hands look normal, and the rest of him is decaying.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a shame. But
The other thing, though, again, I don't want to just keep comparing it to Dawn of the Dead, but if you compare how the zombies look, they've basically been splashed with, blue face paint.
Yeah.
And here they actually look like zombies.
Yeah.
yeah, it surprised me how good these zombies looked.
Okay.
Then I've put, he did not shoot that zombie in the head.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, and that bit. So as soon as that happens, he shoots the zombie. It falls in the water. As soon as that happened, I was like, "Oh, is this film going to take place in New York? Because there's going to be a zombie outbreak in New York."
I mean, that would be the logical assumption to make from the opening.
So then, when it got to the sort of shock horror ending, I was like, "Yeah, no shit. You showed us that was going to happen."
That's true.
Well, hello, Miss Bowles, is what I wrote next because she's quite an attractive lady.
Is this the daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Tissa Farrow. That's Mia Farrow's sister. I think she did 2 films, this being one of them. Do you know who Mia Farrow is, yeah?
Rosemary's Baby.
I don't.
Yeah, Rosemary's Baby, married to Woody Allen, etc. etc.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, but she did 2 films, this being one of them. And
What was the other one?
I can't remember what the other one was. Sorry, I've got IMDb up.
Because she doesn't actually get her boobies out in this one, does she?
No, she's
One
not
of the
is a
the one.
surprise.
females that doesn't.
Yeah, I think every other main female gets their boobs out.
Yeah.
Oh no, she did more than 2, but the other film I'm thinking of is Anthropophagus.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in that. Oh, she's in Manhattan as well, but just as a party guest. So that's Woody Allen again.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Jack. Continue.
No. These 2 people have broken onto a boat, which is 100% a crime scene. That's a stupid idea.
Yeah, but they were, investigating.
investigating.
Yeah, exactly.
I just love that you see her breaking onto the boat, and then the journalist is there, and there's no how did he get there. It's just they happen to pick the same day. I guess it was the night, so that sort of makes sense.
I like how they got caught.
Yes, yeah, I did. Then my next note is the classic "oops, we accidentally fucked in the crime scene" move.
But he had time to unbutton his shirt. And
I was like, oh, they're going to hide in something. He's got a plan.
The thing about that is I felt like she was a bit too cocky. Because if you're caught in a crime scene, right, getting it on, you're going to want to get out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah.
That is if the person that catches you is nice enough to just let you leave. I mean, really,
Yes.
you should have been written up. And
Because she does the whole, goodbye, officer.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, don't push it, love.
Exactly. Oh, she's a risky one, this girl.
Then I put, this music is great, because I think I missed out sort of, not a big section, but a lot of the, like, them getting to the airport scene, that stuff, not massively interesting. But suddenly the music is, like, super Caribbean, like,
Yeah.
fun time music.
Yeah. Well,
Which, like, that happens a lot in this film, is they'll be playing a sort of classic horror-y song, and then suddenly the Caribbean music starts again when it cuts to someone being happy, and it's very jarring.
I agree. I think that piece of music is so out of place, though. It's, the rest of it is really high synth, very early 80s horror movie, very similar to sort of Goblin and what Dario Argento was doing and stuff, and then all of a sudden you've got the Jamaican band in the background.
Yeah, it's weird.
But I think it does help with the setting.
Yeah, but you don't need the music to figure out the setting.
No, but it doesn't hurt. Like, it would be weird if you had this nice sort of... is it Caribbean? Is that where they are?
I don't actually know. I couldn't figure it out.
It's Antilles.
It would be weird if you had like that nice sort of sunny island setting, and you had like gloomy music and sort of like a haunted house type thing. That would be weird. You need sort of upbeat music.
Well, I suppose the upbeat music does, because they're naive at that point, what they're getting themselves into. If you start putting the doom and gloom, then it would change the tone of the film.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But it's jarring.
Then I put... Then I've put, I was born on a boat does not actually mean you have any experience. Because she's very like, oh, I was born on a boat. And you're like, yeah, that's not as impressive as you think, lady.
See, already she's getting on your nerves.
It's weird, because at the start I was well up for her, and then...
She didn't get her boobs out, and you're like, fuck this girl.
Yeah, I went 30 minutes into the film without seeing her boobs. Now, why the hell would you threaten the crazy guy and tell him you're going to reveal all his secrets? Which is the Doctor, who... I thought that the Doctor was going to be the cause of the zombies at this point.
Yeah.
And I was like... well, she... So I had got this wrong, because I thought that... I was like, well, she's telling this guy who has made zombies that she's going to report him to the police.
Wait, who... Wait, I don't know if you've skipped
the
over
wife.
like a major...
The Doctor...
Right,
my headphones
okay,
falling
yes.
out.
Yeah.
The Doctor's wife.
Yes.
There's a scene where she's flipping out at the Doctor.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, they're getting to this side of the island. Why are we not leaving?
Yeah.
And then she's getting all leery and she's like, I'm going to tell everyone what you've been doing. And then he slaps her.
Yeah. Because he's been experimenting.
Yeah.
So it's inhumane.
Yeah, but he's not necessarily the cause, is he? He's trying to...
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mistakenly thought that he had started it.
Okay.
But he actually hadn't. I was wrong.
Voodoo.
Classic voodoo.
Hoodoo?
Very good, Liam.
Do what?
Oh, God.
Sorry, carry on.
How have I lost my place? I'm reading literally a list, and I've got confused. Weird slow zoom on her eyes.
Yeah, get used to that.
Foreshadowing.
Yep.
So many close-ups in this film. I swear Lucio Fulci can't do anything but the sort of close-up, mid-shot upwards, and that's about it. I forget how many close-ups there are in this. I don't know why he does it. I do understand with things like eyes, because I read somewhere like he liked to focus on eyes because it's the window to the soul and all that lot. So
okay.
Yeah. But, you know, every so often, because I haven't seen this film for a couple of years, I've seen it a million times, by the way, but I haven't seen it for a couple of years, I forget how many close-ups, so it makes you feel really claustrophobic, just how close he is to everything and the action and what have you. So sometimes you're just like, oh, just back the fuck up, man.
Then I've written, and boobs plus thong. Yeah.
Yeah, quite the outfit.
It was.
Why does she not have... She has diving gear, but not a wetsuit.
No.
And that is literally a string she is wearing as her pants.
It's not practical.
I don't know, maybe she's an exhibitionist.
Well, the thing is, they're kind of in the middle of nowhere. They're not expecting anyone to be around. Yeah, okay. So there are two strangers on the boat with you and your husband, but why not?
But what about Peter West sort of eyeing her up as well?
Yeah, because he's fully eyeing her up.
Yeah, well, you would.
I mean, not if I was trying to get with the other girl.
The thing that I noticed is the sort of the blonde guy who's her husband, who owns the boat, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
He had a Daily Planet t-shirt on.
He did.
Now, is that a Superman reference, or is that just a coincidence?
I think it's probably a Superman reference.
Love it.
Did you notice when they introduce themselves with their full name? So I'm Anne Bowles, I'm Peter West, etc.
Yeah.
Which
it was very polite.
Yeah, it was very odd. It was really
Yeah.
odd. I don't know. The script's terrible, but I love it at the same time.
Yeah, no, the story in this film was not its strong point, but it's still a great movie.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I put that shark was not big enough to rock the boat like that.
Oh,
Because
that
the shark
scene
seems to be
is
different
crazy.
sizes.
Yeah, as well, it's just like the camera sort of speeds up into the boat and it all rocks. It's
Yes.
just real... Was it needed?
Probably not.
No, not at all. I think the shark was just there to be eaten by the zombie.
Well,
Yeah.
again, in this documentary thingy, they mentioned why the shark was there. And it was because the producer had paid for 20 minutes of shark footage, so asked the writer to please find a way to include it.
That's great.
But I have no problem with that. If I remember rightly, and the first time you watched it,
Yeah.
you weren't enjoying the film, and then zombie versus shark, and you...
Oh, yeah, it's real out of left field and is just very much like... You don't get that in many other films.
No. I
Especially
mean,
this time.
my next point is shark versus zombie in all capitals with lots of exclamation marks.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Yeah, it was great. It did make me... I was suddenly like, oh, are they going to do, like, animals can be infected too, and it's like, are we going to get a zombie shark? But no.
Well, I thought animals generally do get eaten by zombies anyway. At least they...
I think it depends, doesn't it, on, like, where you are in the zombie genre.
Yeah, it's very rare to actually get animals turn into zombies.
That's
there's
true.
only a few things. Then I put, yep, some more boobs. Because we see the doctor's wife.
Yeah, she
lady
just decides
boobs.
to have a shower.
Yeah, because, you know,
no,
she's dirty from all the arguing.
it's a tropical climate. You'd get sweaty in your bits.
Exactly, Ian. You poo when you shit, so...
Yeah. Maybe she just had a shit.
Quite the image. Why they cut that out, I have no idea.
We just missed her squatting and cleaning herself out.
Using a whole roll of toilet paper and going, it's just not going.
Little wonder the zombie went after her.
Then I've said the practical effects are good again. I don't know why I've written that twice. And then, in all capitals, ooh, that lady got her eye impaled on wood, ooh.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
It's so gory. I was expecting it to cut away, and I was like, oh, no, they're going to show this all. Oh my god.
When I first saw the film, it was on one of the cut versions, and that was cut out. And it took me years before I actually saw that scene.
Was it worth it?
It was worth it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that seems like probably the best practical effects in that movie.
yeah, I agree. It proper disgusts you. It's a little wonder it got cut, but
I
yeah.
would disagree. It's a good practical effect, but I have a more favourite one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one?
The woman who gets the eye impaled, there's a shot where she's being eaten by 4 zombies. They come to the room later on, and I think she's like missing a leg or an arm or something, and that's my sort of... It's a really short shot, but it's my favourite shot in the film. Just
Yeah,
because-
I think her arm's off, and then one of the zombies picks up something that looks like a tongue or something.
Yeah, there's something on there. They're eating her, and it's one of those shots that is just real bizarre, but I can't explain why I like it. It's just the way it's framed, and it's nice.
weirdly, that scene was also cut, but I became aware of that film because of that scene, because I saw a picture of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to see that film. And of course,
I feel like it's a quite iconic scene, isn't it?
yeah, it's brilliant. But yeah, as I said, the release I got, which was the old Vitco release, that was cut.
Oh, okay.
So
So you watched the whole film like where the fuck
Where
is
the
this
fuck
scene?
is it? Yeah, exactly. So I think it's because I bought again, this is mid to late 90s. I bought an Empire horror special, horror films you must see before you die and stuff, and Zombie Flesh Eaters was in there, and they just had that little picture. And I managed to pick up the film, and yeah, it was gone. And I was like, great.
Yeah.
The two best scenes in the film cut.
No, if you still had the zombie and the shark, it's not the best scene.
Alright, I still have the zombie and the shark, but the two best gore scenes in the film were cut.
Yeah.
So then I've said, to be honest, guys, I don't think you want this island to help you.
That's true.
Because definitely not. It's the worst island to accidentally end up on. Well, at least she isn't a zombie, I guess. Which I don't know who I'm talking about.
It must be the wife.
Oh, yes, because it's the scene where she's being eaten.
Yeah.
She's not a zombie, she's just dead.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, which is, I think that's why I put the I guess.
Yeah.
But then they haven't eaten her brain, so logic would dictate that.
Yeah, that she would come back at some point as sort of a limbless corpse monster zombie.
But, again,
Well, no, because I don't know. With voodoo zombies, is it still the same where a bite would infect you and you'd reanimate, or would you have to? Would the voodoo spell have to be sort of cast at some point?
No, because
to
we see
reanimate?
what's her face.
Yeah.
Barrett, is it? Comes back as a zombie.
We do, but we also don't know if someone's casting a voodoo spell between her being bitten and coming back.
I would assume the voodoo spell is done way before when the whole thing started,
Yeah, that would make sense.
and so they all get infected after.
I mean, I feel like it's a point that the film doesn't really care to elaborate on, so there's not much point us hypothesizing.
trying to crack it.
Dear.
The Doctor is very chilled out about shooting corpses in the head.
He's used to it.
Yeah.
He is. We do find that out that he's done it quite a few times.
See, experimentation.
Yeah, what is his experiment?
He's testing the blood, isn't he? So,
Oh, that's right. Yes, he is, yeah.
he's seeing if he can find a cure, which obviously he can't.
No. Then I put in all capitals, now is not the time to make out, because they've established that they're on an island with people eating each other, and then decide to have a little kissing session.
I know, but these dangerous situations brings out the animal
Gets the blood
instinct.
flowing.
Yeah.
It's like that story, which might be an urban legend, about the plane that was going to crash and everyone just started masturbating.
Yeah.
The plane sort of fixed itself and everyone just looked really sheepish.
I don't think I've heard that one.
Really?
Yeah.
So what happened, right? There was a plane, it was about to crash, so everyone
started masturbating?
and then the pilot fixed it and everyone looked really sheepish.
Well, if everyone was masturbating, I'm sure they were all like, well...
You think I've started, so I might as well finish.
No.
No. Oh, Liam.
You think, you'd go to the toilet for a bit of private time, really, more than
But if everyone's doing it, that'd be a long-ass queue. By the time you get there, it would have gone down.
Also very suspicious. If the plane's crashing and you suddenly are like, oh, I've got to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
There's a weird line in this film that, like, I know that the script's not great, but this specific one really got to me, which is, we did test for epilepsy. And then I said, you're a doctor, and you thought this was epilepsy. Like, I love the idea of the first, he gets to this island and is like, oh, that guy's eating another person. Maybe he has epilepsy.
Well, I've got no comment on that, to be honest. Logic.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to have all these things out.
He's that's fair. He's a doctor. He is ruling out every possibility. I'll accept that. Then I put, well, this has all gone tits up. I think that was when all the zombies started appearing and just coming from everywhere.
You missed a good opportunity there to say that when one of them got their tits out.
I did, as I wrote that, I was like, that would have been a good pun.
Yeah.
So is this where the zombies start rising from the grave?
Yes, I think it's just... Yeah, all the zombies start coming out of the graves.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, when they actually look the most impressive as well.
Well, they do. My only issue with it is these are Spanish conquistadors, I think. So they're like 200, 300-year-old zombies, and they still have skin on them.
Yeah. Yeah, that is slightly weird. I think one of them did have maggots in his eye, so that's... He's getting there.
It's getting there, yeah.
Now you're just trapped in a burning building with zombies who are also on fire, which is a flaw in a lot of zombie films where they use fire, because fire is not good on zombies, because they just are then flaming zombies.
Yeah, typical horror trope, to be honest.
Yep, set it on fire.
Burn the fuckers down.
Oh, and then then suddenly, so we've had all these people we've had zombies being shot in the chest and not dying as people learn what to do, and then we get a scene where they just go around punching zombies in the head and all the zombies get killed.
Well,
I was like,
sorry.
It sort of detracts from it a little bit if you're like, well, you just got to whack them and they seem to be dead.
But this was the really old ones, right? So
No, because I think it happens to some of the ones. No, it happens to the 4 in the back of the hospital.
Yeah.
Because that's why, because I would have understood if it was just the old ones and
Yeah.
they were fragile, maybe.
Didn't they run out of bullets at that point?
yeah.
Do they say they've run out of bullets?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Maybe maybe I hadn't heard him say that. I was too busy being distracted by Molotov cocktails. And then I've just written great ending.
Cool.
Which is all the zombies walking into New York.
Yes, just the fact I like a good nothing's gone well in this film, and then right at the end they're like, oh, also it's not good.
Yeah. And the traffic's still going on below them.
That is slightly odd. Clearly, I guess they just had permission to film on the walkway, and New York was like, fuck you, we're not stopping the traffic.
I actually think they didn't have permission to do anything in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they had to do it all on the fly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think that's a rumour. I read it somewhere.
No, I think you're right with that one.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting, but it's true. That's pretty cool.
So overall, Jack,
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, above good.
I would say that's a very good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, I'd say a very good would be like a 4.
We're not going through your star ratings again, Lou. 2.5 is watchable.
I'd say it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, so I assume. So do both of you like this film as well? Mark clearly.
I love it. It's one of my favourite horror films of all time.
Oh, fair enough.
But I've seen it a million times, and everything about it is just endearing. Yeah, from top to bottom. It's so weird, dark, and different to everything else I'd seen up until that point. That I loved it, but weirdly, everything that made it weird, like the bad dubbing and everything, I saw another film from the same director shortly after called House by the Cemetery, and I hated that film for the reasons I loved the other one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've grown to love it since, but when I originally seen it, it's weird because, I don't know, Italian genre in general is quite an acquired taste anyway. Because
I've seen one Italian horror film, which was Cat in the Brain.
Oh, right,
that's not true.
That's the same director, but why is it not?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Well, no, because I made Jack also watch Bay of Blood.
Yeah, I've seen A Bay of Blood. Yeah, that's true.
That's great. But Cat in the Brain is the same director.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah.
The practical effects in that are good as well,
Yeah.
so maybe.
It's, as I say, it's just an acquired taste thing, and the more you watch, the more you get used to it, and all the bad things you can sort of put to one side if you do enjoy it, for its practical effects, or its weirdness, or its music, and things like that. And Zombie Flesh Eaters, I'll definitely put it as one of the easily top 5 within that sort of genre, I think.
Wait, which genre are we talking about? Like zombie or Italian?
I would say both, but I'm specifically talking about Italian genres.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, there's not that many better zombie films, in my opinion.
No, I think it's a really good example of a classic zombie film in but different. But I'm not explaining what I mean well, but yes.
I mean, you got to think by that point there'd only been a few examples of that genre. Now we're littered in them. They're everywhere. They're just recycling the same old shit. The only interesting one really is The Walking Dead, and that because it focuses more on humans and what it happens to them after the zombie apocalypse.
Well, that's the thing. With zombie films, you tend to see, you have the beginning where everything's normal, the zombie outbreak, and by that point you're an hour and a half in, and you're done with the film.
Yeah.
Whereas The Walking Dead obviously has the time to show you, what happens when you actually have to exist
exactly
in this sort of environment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the films that do try and pick things up later on, stuff like Warm Bodies and shit like that.
I don't think I haven't seen that one.
Or like Fido, like they're not very good.
Is Fido the one with Billy Connolly?
It is indeed.
I haven't seen that one, but that's a comedy one, isn't it?
Yeah, they've tried to they've made this technology to try and sort of have the zombies almost as like worker slaves.
Oh yeah.
So they'll do like the real sort of easy jobs.
So similar to the end of the Shaun of the Dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I might check it out. I don't know. But no, Liam, you're right. It's exactly like that, and you know the only other thing they do with them is either parody, or the same old tosh, because it's just a cheap and easy way to get a film made is by doing a zombie film. So.
Yep.
Yeah, at least with this...
I'm sort of sad that voodoo zombie stuff doesn't really happen anymore.
I suppose it's because it's fantastical.
Yeah, but I love it. I love when they suddenly chuck in a bit of voodoo witch doctor and I'm like, yep, cool.
I mean, I feel like this is the best voodoo zombie film I've seen.
Well, the only other examples before that were like White Zombie and...
Was it I Walked with a Zombie?
I Walked with a Zombie, yeah, the Val Lewton ones. Yeah, that's the only ones I could think of. Oh, American Horror Story sort of dabbled in season 3 with voodoo zombies as well.
Oh, okay.
But it was only dabbling. It was focusing more on witches, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, as I said, because it's more, you know, they're putting it down to magic, and nowadays everyone's like needs everything explaining, and everything's got to be logical. It's harder to sort of make something like that. I would say.
Another one that I haven't seen came out in '66 was The Plague of the Zombies.
Oh, that's the Hammer one, isn't it?
Yeah. Which also has a voodoo element to it.
Yes, it does. But
Is that worth watching?
I think so. I love Hammer anyway for for its kitschness and what have you. But this is they're worker zombies. They're not necessarily. You know, they're still voodoo, but they're just made to be slaves. So it's looking at the slave aspect rather than going around killing people.
Okay. But we did also... we got some correspondence from Twitter.
Ah.
Yeah. So we did a tweet where we kind of asked people... we said, you know, we're doing Zombie Flesh Eaters. Get involved and tweet or email us your thoughts. We had one response. We have, like, over 2,000 followers, but one response.
That's very good.
Nope. And... it was Brandon Lipani, or Lipani, I don't really know how you say his name, and he tweeted us saying, "Zombies are all the rage these days, lol." So, I don't know if he's aware that Zombie Flesh Eaters came out in 1979. I don't really know the point of his tweet. Like, he's right, they are all the rage these days, but I don't really understand how that applies to the film we're talking about.
Maybe
I just like the fact that Liam's been asking for listeners to like tweet for all the episodes, and when he actually gets a tweet, he's angry.
It's not good enough. It's just not good enough. The thing is, yeah, definitely. Like, if someone's listening, right, definitely tweet us or email us their thoughts. Happy for them to do that, but make it worth reading.
I liked your tweet, Brandon.
Yeah.
Why?
It's just good. It's a good thought.
It's a good observation.
No, it's not.
Well, we did discuss that zombies are all the rage, so...
Yes, but how does that apply to Zombie Flesh Eaters?
Maybe he was just his thoughts in general, Liam.
Well, if I'd have asked for his thoughts in general, then sure. But I wanted his thoughts on Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
That was Brad.
Brandon, try again.
I feel like he really dropped the ball on that one. Like, this was his chance, you know. This goes out to several listeners every other week.
At least 3.
Exactly. He could have really, you know, said something of worth there. But instead, zombies are all the rage these days, lol. I think it's the lull at the end as well that bothers me.
I think that makes it better.
Me too.
It feels like such a low effort tweet. Doesn't it?
What would you rather have?
I would rather have, you know, something quite insightful, like a discussion on how this movie compares to Dawn of the Dead, and the way with Dawn of the Dead you have the people and how how they're kind of shown as consumers, and that's not really an element that's present in this film. You just see the zombies consuming.
Well, maybe he tried to write that and he hit the character limit.
Send an email then. No character limits to an email.
Or why don't you just ask that question directly?
Oh, if a general question isn't going to get us, a specific question like that won't. Also, it'd be really hard to word that question in 140 characters or less. But, you know, thank you for tweeting us, Brandon.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, clearly.
Should be appreciative, man.
I do appreciate it. I also just have higher expectations of our listeners. And that's on me.
That is.
Right. Anything else?
Yeah, I haven't rated it out of 5 yet, and I would agree with Jack's rating of 3.5 out of 5.
Well, I'll give it 4.5, but that's only because, you know, it's a film I've seen over and over and over again. So
that's fair enough. Do we have any final thoughts on either zombie flesh eaters, zombies in general, anything really?
I think zombie films are all the rage these days. Right?
And I agree.
Next time on Nerd on Nerd, what are we doing? We're doing like a manga or something, can't we?
Yeah, we're going to read Berserk Volume 1.
What's it called?
Berserk.
No, the volume.
1.
It's called The Black Swordsman.
Fair enough.
Now, I don't know nothing about this.
Neither do I.
I just saw some images from it. I don't know what volume they were from. It looked interesting. It looked
Yeah,
weird.
I read a description that said it's like the goriest example of manga.
Which is good. This is why I'm curious about this, because obviously we've discussed at great length how shit anime is. So I'm really keen to get stuck into some manga, because I've only dabbled. I've only read Death Note, but I did enjoy it.
Have you watched the anime for Death Note?
No, why would I watch the anime for Death Note?
Because that's like that's not me being an anime nerd. That's a legitimately good series without the anime aspect.
Maybe you should have recommended it then, instead of fucking shit.
Well, I was trying to get you to appreciate other examples of anime, but fine, I'll give you Death Note at some point.
I personally couldn't get into Death Note, but that's just me. But I enjoyed the first 2 films, not the third one, you know, the spin-off.
I haven't seen the films. I keep meaning to.
Yeah, but the anime I didn't get into. But I'm with you, Jack. You know, Liam's just very, very ignorant when it comes to anime, so just keep persisting.
He is.
Wouldn't say ignorant is the right word. I just say
it's not even like I'm trying to wind him up with them. I'm legitimately picking ones that I want him to like.
Ninja Scroll. I'm telling you.
Yeah?
Give him Ninja Scroll. Is at least interesting.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, sorry, continue.
So I don't know if Berserk is going to be like Death Note, where it's all back to front.
Read it in reverse. It will be back to front. I'm putting air quotes around that because it's the right way around for the way they read it.
Good news, guys! There is a TV series and a film series of Berserk. So there you go.
I did see that, so we might be able. If Liam loves the manga, maybe we can try the others.
Maybe. I'm just very, very curious about this, but it could be shit. I know nothing about it really.
Well, it looks like it's got like good reviews and stuff.
Cool. I'll look forward to that.
Yeah. We'll see. So that's coming up next time. Maybe our listeners could tweet us what they thought of anything we've discussed in this episode, or they could email us, or they could just go to our YouTube channel. How would they do any of those things, Jack?
You can tweet us at nerdonnerd. You can email us at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com, or you can find us on YouTube by searching, I don't know, It's Called a Fleshlight, Episode 1, Nerd on Nerd, which admittedly is a complicated search, but, you know.
I found it by doing that, so.
See?
I think once you've done it once, just subscribe to us, and that makes it easier for you in the future.
Yeah, and also, if you go to our YouTube channel now, you will see Jack starring in a Mumblecore film directed by me.
That's true.
It's very amusing.
It is quite funny.
That's not what we were going for.
What were you going for, Liam?
Like quite a touching, tender story.
You were going for the feels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like Mumblecores aren't typically comedies.
Okay.
That's sort of like character studies. So this was my study of the character Jack.
I thought it was a bit tongue-in-cheek, personally.
I thought that too, Mark. I'm slightly worried now.
I think, if you remember rightly, Jack, the direction I gave you was think about something sad and tell me a story about a lost love.
Don't ruin
And that's
it.
what I got.
Yeah, don't give it all away, Liam. We've got to keep it secret.
I'm not giving anything away. That's just the direction you got.
I mean, you started by pointing a camera in my face and going, I found a good setting, say something.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
It was called Dramatic Black and White. I think you'll find it was a very good setting.
It was.
Also, super good quality camera that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, it did the slow zoom make it into the clip?
Well, one of them did. The one at the end where it zoomed into your face and you just looked like a real morose motherfucker. That made it.
Your worst bit of camera work was the fridge. I thought that it was lit terribly.
It's hard to light a fridge.
Again,
I mean, we could have turned the light on.
but it was an unnecessary scene that could have been cut then.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Right, so let me just explain what we were going for there.
Oh, God.
This was a look. So, obviously, again, I don't want to spoil too much, right? So I'm going to have to talk a little bit cryptically. But this was a look at what the character of Jack would have inside a fridge. And it's also very telling what he chooses to take out of the fridge. I think that gives you a lot of insight into who Jack, the character, is.
Now, Liam, are you worried? Because when you say it's a look into what the character Jack would have in his fridge, that is legitimately what you have in your fridge.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Jack. You're his muse.
I am. I think Liam's telling a story about himself through the character of Jack.
You are George Clooney to his Steven Soderbergh. That's what you are.
Wow. So if you want to see that, go to the Nerd on Nerd YouTube channel, give it a cheeky subscribe. Do you know what else I think they should do, Jack?
Is it rate us on iTunes?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
No, no one has much.
No,
but
no,
to be
fuck
fair,
off, 3 people
I don't
have.
do it to any other podcast.
No, I don't.
Like, even the ones I love.
Yeah, same.
3 people have done it to us, and we're very appreciative to those 3 people.
Have you given a shout out?
Nah,
I think we did.
well, maybe we did, yeah. And I tell you what, if someone does do it, following this, 100% will shout out.
That's good.
So, what should they do to do that, Jack?
Go on iTunes and go to Nerd on Nerd and click rate.
But they should only click 5 stars, really, shouldn't they?
Well, no, at this point, I think we're accepting 3 and above.
No, but come on, 4 or 5.
Okay, well, if you can give us 4 or 5, do it, but I'll accept 3.
And also, if they could leave some words that are kind of quite complimentary, I'd like that.
It's because on Liam's scale, 3 is average, and he sees himself above average.
Oh, that's true, yeah. We've got to account for Liam and my scales, yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is free content. We're not charging any money for this.
Stop trying to guilt people.
I'm not guilting them. I'm just saying, we put a lot of work and effort into making this show as good as it is. And it's just free content. All they have to do is shut up and listen, and maybe, once in a while, fucking send a nice tweet. It's not a big ask, is it?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I'm not asking the world.
Okay.
I'm not asking them to actually give us hard-earned
Good
money.
Lord, Liam.
But we are thinking of doing merchandise at some point, aren't we?
No.
I'm thinking about it.
Is this the t-shirts?
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
I would love that t-shirt.
Thank you. Which t-shirt is it that you'd like? Because we've got 2 ideas on the go.
Can you tell me the ideas?
So, right, we've got one t-shirt that says I love Liam on it. And then on the back it says Nerd on Nerd, of course. Yeah. And then we have a second t-shirt, which is my personal favourite, which says I hate Jack on it. And it has Nerd on the back.
I think I would have to buy both.
I think that's the right way to do it. You buy one for yourself and one for a friend of yours.
Yeah.
So, there we go, Jack. That's 2 t-shirt sales.
Good.
Of course, it depends how much you're charging.
Oh, it would be reasonable. Like, how much
would it?
Like, £7?
£7 is fine.
There we go. I don't know how much it costs to make them.
We're going to make a huge loss.
It'd probably be around a £5.
Yeah, exactly. And I reckon... So, let's say... Alright, how about this? £8, or you can buy them both for 15.
That's
Save you
good.
£7.
I like that. Yeah.
There we go. That's
I'm just
bad.
not a fan of the I Hate Jack t-shirt.
That's my favourite one.
I'm aware, Liam.
The thing is, I feel like our listeners do split into 2 camps.
No, I don't think they do.
The camps are they either love me or they hate you.
If Joanna and Tom are listening, one of you please tweet in and say that you would not like an I Hate Jack t-shirt, please.
They don't listen anymore.
I think Tom might.
He stopped doing art.
That's a point, Tom. If you're out there, do some art.
We've
mate.
asked him like 3 times now.
That's true. I'll confront
I
him.
don't think he listens.
Can I have one that says Liam is a 3-star friend?
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
That is pretty good.
I'd be up for making that as well.
Cool.
And that's it. Oh yeah, but Mark,
Oh.
how can people find you on the internet if they wanted to? I believe you have a very exciting project coming up with a very exciting person.
Okay, yeah. Me and Liam are currently working towards doing our own podcast, which should be with you in October. But we haven't done much with it yet, apart from decide upon a name.
I mean, just so people know, this is going to be a more movie-focused podcast, because apparently, according to some people on the Nerd on Nerd team, it's really boring when I talk about movies too much and talk about what I've seen in cinema too much. Oh, what? How boring. So I'm just going to do a podcast all about that.
Well, you'll have a listener. I'll listen to your podcast.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I
But
will.
it's specifically on horror movies, so we're going to be hitting that market. So yeah, once it's up and running, I'll give the details to Liam so they can, if you don't mind, Jack, do a shout out on your
Oh, no, yeah.
podcast, and vice versa, and yeah.
I would actually like to do a cheeky little shout out, if that's okay.
Yeah, shoot.
So there's a podcast that I listened to recently. I should get the name of it up, really. The Twitter account is at Big Pick Reviews, and their actual podcast is called something else. It's got an odd name that I'm just fucking scrolling through their timeline and not finding it. It's called like Atlantic SC or something, or the ASC podcast. It's a film-based one, but it's not bad. Give it a listen.
Big Pick Reviews.
Yeah.
Okay. I shall follow.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. They're good chaps.
Done. They have a new follower.
Lovely. Anything you want to pimp out, Jack?
No.
Got no projects, Jack.
I feel like I should get one now.
Do it.
I'm going to do a solo podcast called Nerd.
Yeah. And just slagging off Liam.
This week, Liam really pissed me off.
I feel like that's definitely you have plenty of content for that.
I would.
Yeah, not many listeners.
I would listen to that. Without a doubt.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
No. So yeah, thank you for joining us on this very special episode.
Who, me? Oh, right. Sorry, I thought I was in general.
So yeah, that wasn't to listeners, that was to you.
You want to do it
Yeah,
again?
thank you, Mark.
No, it's fine, we'll leave that in.
Okay, fine. Not a problem, Liam. Not a problem. And Jack.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And yeah,
It's been fun.
see us again in 2 weeks' time.
Next time I'm on, I am definitely doing a manga anime film. Just so
That's
Sweet.
real good. Oh, if it's a film, fair enough. If it's a TV show, that's a surefire way to never be invited back.
well, I could do 6 episodes of Samurai Champloo. I think you'd enjoy.
I love Samurai Champloo.
Same.
I mean, nah.
It's from the maker of Cowboy Bebop.
See, I've laid down a rule. We're not doing any more anime until we watch Barefoot again.
I haven't seen that yet. I do mean to.
I've seen it. It's super depressing.
Is it more
I
depressing?
didn't think you had seen it.
I'm sure I have. I think that's the one I got to in the Studio Ghibli
It's not a
roster.
Studio Ghibli.
No, you're thinking of Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh, yeah, maybe I haven't seen Barefoot again.
Nah, it's not Studio Ghibli.
Alright, my bad.
So, spin on it.
This outro has lasted about 30 minutes, by the way.
Bye!
Bye!
Bye.